Hi, and welcome to All Things Tech. My name is Laird Stewart, and on the show today, we're going to do a review of the iPhone 5. We're going to have a look at some of the functionality that it has on this new version. We're going to look at some of the pros and the cons on there. They've made the phone a lot smaller. Well, not a lot smaller, but they have designed it thinner, and it is a good bit lighter. Now, to get the phone that size, what did they have to take out, and what new stuff have they added in? Now, first thing we're going to have a look at here is we're going to have a look at the actual size of the phone. We're going to see how much bigger and lighter it is compared to its predecessor, the iPhone 4S. Now, if we have a look on here at the weight and the dimension, straight away you can see that the actual phone itself, the height of the phone, is actually bigger than its predecessor, the iPhone 4S. That is due to the fact that Apple have now put a 4-inch screen into the actual iPhone compared to its 3.5-inch, which was on the iPhone 4 and the 4S. Now, the width of the phone hasn't changed at all. The phone is still the actual same width as all the other phones, from the 4 to the 4S. Now, we look at the depth of it. Now, this is where we start to notice a reduction within the actual phone. The depth of this phone is 7.6mm compared to the iPhone 4S, which was a 9.3mm phone in depth. Now, it's good that they have taken away the depth of the phone. They've made it smaller, which might feel a lot more comfortable in your hand, as I'm holding right now the iPhone 4S, which for me is pretty comfortable. I'd like to get my hands on one of these iPhone 5s to see if it feels any significant in weight as well, as they are claiming that it is only 112 grams in weight compared to the iPhone 4S, which is 140 grams in weight. So it'd be good to actually have a look at that and find out, what is the actual weight difference. Can you tell the weight difference by holding it? Will it feel any smoother or thinner in your hand compared to the 4S? Now, moving on, now we go to the actual display. Like I said there, they have made it a 4-inch screen, which is good compared to its 3.5-inch in the iPhone 4S. Now, that is good because watching videos and that, it does, as the claim give it, a perfect 16:9 ratio with this 4-inch screen, which is really, really good, especially if you like to stream videos or see more of the contents on the actual screen. Now, the impressiveness bits here is the fact that the resolution has actually gone up compared to the iPhone 4, which was 960 by 640, and the iPhone 4S, which was the same, 960 by 640. Now, the iPhone 5 is 1136 by 640, which is a big increase in resolution to the screen. It still carries the same 326 ppi across all three models of the iPhone, so they haven't changed too much within that sense there. Now, from that part there, we move over and we go down to the 3G and wireless. Now, the 3G is not changed dramatically over the courses of the phone, the iPhone 4, the iPhone 4S, and the new iPhone 5. But the biggest change for the 3G or 4G is the actual LTE technology that they've implemented into the iPhone 5, which, if you're in the UK, you're not really going to benefit much of, as our networks are not fully ready. I don't think they'll be ready until about the end of the year, and even at that, it will be a limited amount of networks that will probably carry it at the beginning. Now, moving away from the 3G and the 4G, is it's pretty much the same. They've just added the 4G chip LTE for the phone. Now, if we have a look at the actual wireless, now this is where it gets pretty decent over the wireless side. It still implements the 802.11 mode through the standards of A through to B. Now, on the actual iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S, you did not get A standard on there. Now, some people may be thinking, well, A is older than B and G are definitely a lot older than N. That is correct. When Wireless A first came out, it had a standard on it. Now, what they've done there is the 802.11.A mode was a 5 GHz chip setting on there, which everything sort of slowly moved away from, as the 2.4 was more of a universal frequency to use for radio and wireless technology. Due to the fact that that band is now overcrowded, that spectrum is used for just about anything these days that emits a frequency. So iPhone have implemented the 802.11a mode back into their new handset, which does give it 2.4 GHz and a 5 GHz capabilities. Now this says in their initial video that that will be dual band, depending how your router is set up. If your router supports it, then you'll be able to use the 5 GHz on your phone and still be able to use 2.4 on your non-5 GHz devices, which is good. But that's down to your router side, not mostly down to the phone on for that side. It still carries the same standard of Bluetooth 4.0 from the iPhone 4S. Good, that's all the good stuff in my opinion. What they've done, they made the phone thinner, which makes it a lot nicer. Might be a lot comfortable to hold. They've put in LTE, but I'll not benefit from that until probably summer next year, until the networks in the UK physically get 4G, or if they even have LTE over here. Bluetooth's the same, I don't really use that on the phone anyways, but it's there. I wonder if they decide to change it a little bit and allow you to transfer files through the Bluetooth on the new iOS 6. They haven't mentioned anything about it, but we'll see on there. Now, coming down to the actual SIM on the phone. Now, as you know, we went through the stages of anyone that currently had the iPhone 3G, 3GS with the standard SIM card, standard size SIM card within it, and then they upgraded to the iPhone 4 and they were made to go to a micro SIM card. The iPhone 4S was the same size of SIM card, so it was a matter of, you know, if you only had a contract only on a SIM card or you had a full phone, was swapping the SIM card to your new iPhone 4S and you were up and running in minutes. Well, unfortunately, iPhone have decided now to go with a new style of SIM card, which is they're calling it Nano-sim, which means that your current SIM card will not work with your iPhone 5 on there. So that's a downside to the phone. For them to make the phone a lot thinner and a lot lighter, they have to downsize some of the hardware in the phone, and it looks like they've took that out on the SIM card of the phone. They have made it smaller. Now, yet to see if this is going to cause any problems with anybody with the phone or that. Yet to be seen. It'll not make much of a difference to most people. We now have the intelligent assistants, the Siri use. Now, pretty much was on the iPhone 4S and it's on the iPhone 5. The hardware is already in the phone. Some of the new features on the Siri is with the iPhone 6, the iOS 6, software upgrade for that, which will bring a lot more features to the actual Siri package. I believe most of those features come along of you can actually use Siri to open applications on your phone, make reservations, get directions from the actual Siri app itself, which sounds pretty cool on there. It's certainly something I'll be trying out as soon as I get this phone. hopefully, by some point in October or the end of September, whenever it is actually officially going to be released on there. Now, moving along to the iSight camera. Now, the iPhone 4, as we know, it had a 5 megapixel camera. The iPhone 4S, 8 megapixel camera. Big upgrade on the camera to the 4S. Well, they haven't upgraded the camera. It's still an 8 megapixel camera. Still supports autofocus across them, tap to focus functionality, and LED flash. All three on there is still the same. Backside aluminum sensors on the iPhone 4S has also been brought over to the iPhone 5, so no significant changes there. 5-element lens is still currently in the iPhone 5. They've made no attempts to upgrade that or anything at the moment. Face detection is currently on it as well, which was brought over from the iPhone 4S, and hybrid IR filter, which isn't also a feature that was brought over. It still has the f2.4 aperture and panorama, which the panorama has been updated, which is on the iPhone iOS 6 upgrade, which has given it a bit more functionality, which looks pretty good. So no massive changes, in fact no changes at all to the iSight camera for the rear end of it. Now, for the FaceTime camera, the front FaceTime camera, it's a 1.2 megapixel photo with a 720p HD video recording on there, which is an improvement compared to the standard camera on the iPhone 4S for the FaceTime. That's the front facing camera, not the rear facing camera. They've also implemented a sort of backside aluminum sensor into the front camera to give it much more of a sharper quality in the actual picture, which is good, which is pretty good in there. So you should be able to get some decent FaceTime as long as you're in decent light and things like that. Now, as for the video calling features from within the FaceTime, you've got the iPhone 5 for there says that the device will support FaceTime over Wi-Fi and 3G. Now, the actual iPhone 4S claims on their website, which we're looking at just now, as it claims as that had that ability. I haven't physically myself actually tried to do FaceTime, as I don't physically use it. I use Skype more than anything on the phone. I don't use their built-in FaceTime, so I haven't physically tried that, but their website is claiming that the 4S had the ability over Wi-Fi or 3GS to do FaceTime, something I will be going to try out. Now, on there, for the rear side video recording, it's still the same. It's still giving out 1080p high definition video recording at 30 frames per second. They have improved a little bit of the video recording. They have improved the video stabilization, so if you're shaking about that, it should be less reduced on the actual overall video quality. You can take still photos while recording, which is pretty good. That would be a handy feature. You're recording a video and you just want to take a quick picture within that video. Now you can actually do that with the iPhone 5 and the iOS 6 operating system. Also has face detection from in there for auto-focusing on certain parts, the face mainly, on the videos, which is good. Now, moving on to the headphones, they have completely re-engineered the headphones. Now, before they even mentioned that the iPhone 5 was coming out, there was a few leaked photographs on the internet of these headphones a couple of weeks before they actually announced at their September conference there that the iPhone 5 was coming out, and they looked very good. The actual headphones themselves are now no longer flat based, they are now rounded, which iPhone are claiming that it should help with the endless problem with the headphones constantly falling out people's ears, as they were really designed in that much of a special way compared to standard headphones. Now, they are actually calling them Apple Earpods. That is the name they're giving their headphones. Apple Earpods from there, with remote and a mic on there. So pretty much the same as the standard ones. It's got your volume keys up and down, and it has a mic on it, which I believe the standard headphones had anyway, just a microphone. They're also saying that it will come with a handy storage and travel case with these headphones, so that could be quite interesting. Now, moving on to the worst part, personally, what I think of the phone is the new connector that they are branding Lightning. Now, I know that some people are going to moan about that. Oh, well, they have to upgrade things, move with the times. Yes, that is correct. To move with the times. Yeah, so, but for me, this is the biggest problem on the phone for there, as I can't get my hands on one of the adapters, which I'll get to later on, until October, to test this out. But they've changed the actual connector from a 30 pin down to a smaller pin, which they are calling Lightning on there, which is quite a catchy name. But if you came through all the iPhones like I did for there, you'll notice that, you know, the iPhone 3GS, the iPhone 4, the iPhone 4S, and I believe the iPhone 3G was the same. They had the 30 pin connector, which meant that from the iPhone 3G all the way to the iPhone 4S, you did not need to update your accessories. Not anymore. It's not compatible out of the box, unfortunately, because they have changed this to a much smaller pin to get these newer features and battery life and that into the actual phone. They've made the pin a lot smaller, so out of the box your accessories will not work for the phone. So this is a big screw up, I think, in the sense for launch of the actual iPhone 5, is you can't use your old accessories, but you know, you can use them, because Apple are offering a Lightning to 30 pin adapter. Now, on the Apple Store for UK, that is ranging at £25. Now, you can order one just now, but they will not be dispatched till October, it says. Now, looking at the actual adapter itself, if you bring it up, as you can see here, this is the adapter. What I have from here is this, the bottom bit, which is the 30 pin, and the top bit, which is the Lightning, the new adapter. How big is this base of this adapter going to be? As I currently have a DAB radio, which I plug my iPhone into, and I use that for streaming my audio or playing my iTunes library through the DAB radio. Now, my particular accessory is enclosed at the top, and it's rounded, and it just fits with millimeters of space between the phone. So the design of this was designed specially for this phone in size. Now, if this is even a fraction bigger than the actual width of the phone, then it's not going to fit in my accessory, which makes the adapter useless to me for there. If it's one of the open plan ones, it's just got a little base with the 30 pin connector sticking out it, that's fine. The adapter's just if it has that little enclosure around about the actual connection, you might not be able to use the adapter due to the size of the adapter. But like I says, you know, they won't be dispatched until October, so I'll not be able to test that until then for it. But I'll certainly get back to you with that there, and I'll certainly, you know, let you know what's going on with that adapter and what I think of it. But have to wait until I physically get that adapter to do that. So I think, me personally, that was a big mistake. I don't know, we'll see if it works. But me personally, I think that was a big mistake for it to be done. So that's, that's my opinions, and that's what I think about the iPhone 5 compared to the 4 and the 4S. Now, feel free, leave your comments below, rate, like, you know, let us know what you think of it. If you think that, some of the things that I've said on there that you agree with, and by all means leave a comment, and we'll see how this goes from here.